The next thing you'll need to know is how you're going to connect your chemical lines to the supply compartment on the washer. There's two ways to go. You're either going to inject your chemicals over straight into the supply compartment using from 1 to 6 individual chemical lines, or you're going to run a flush line, single flush line, over the supply compartment. You need to know how you're going to connect that to the supply compartment. In many cases, the supply compartments are brutalized by people who've been on the machines before you and have either installed them incorrectly, or perhaps they've actually got a connection point that you can make use of. But in either case, examine the supply box on the washer and make some determination as to how you're going to get your tube or tubes inside the compartment and secure them so they don't move when the machine goes into extract. All right, the next thing you need to look for is where your chemical supplies are going to be located. You want to make those supplies readily accessible to the laundry personnel that will be changing them out. In other words, you don't want to put a 5-gallon pail in behind a drain trough where they can't lift it up and possibly carry it out. So make sure that the supplies are located in a convenient, easy to access area around the machines. And keep in mind your dispenser location. The dispenser should not lift products more than 20 feet away from their source. Peristaltic pumps are far better at pushing product than they are at sucking product. Your next decision will be what flow rate for your peristaltic pumps do you need to inject the products into that size machine in the volumes you want to deliver them in. Typically for washers of less than 75 pounds with light viscosity products, the standard 100 RPM motor will do. But if you get up into built products that have more viscosity, are much thicker, and you have to go greater distances or inject into a bigger washer, you may need to size up to 20 ounce a minute pump. If you're using built products that take longer to push and you need a high volume, something in excess of 8 ounces or greater, and you may want to size up to the 16 ounce a minute peristaltic pump. Keep in mind the standard again is an 8 ounce peristaltic pump with the 100 RPM motor. If you need the higher flow rate, ask for the 16 ounce a minute 200 RPM motor, and you'll deliver those products quickly and accurately to the washer. If you're going to use chemical flush, make sure to locate the water line that you want to use to supply water to your water solenoid valve and your flush manifold. In most cases, cold water is used to flush water and chemical over to the washer. The distance from your supply to the dispenser, again, should be no more than 6 feet in height. Again, the pump can pull from up to 20 feet away, but peristaltic pumps are far better at pushing than they are at sucking. So keep your supply close to the dispenser and keep the dispenser at a serviceable level on the wall. Connecting water to the flush manifold solenoid valve can be done in two ways, either with plastic 1/4 inch polyethylene tubing or with 1/4 inch copper tubing. How you connect to the pipe or the hose for water supply is something you'll also need to know. Most typically, our customers will use a 1/4 inch saddle valve on a copper pipe in order to supply water to our water solenoid valve. In this case, we're showing you plastic tubing. It's very important to know that the plastic tubing, because of the line hammer that can result from water pressures fluctuating, can in fact jar this connection loose. So make sure that you strain relief the plastic tubing and your copper tubing against the wall so that you don't risk this line coming off and spilling water over and flooding out the laundry. One last point on using flush in an on-premise application is that you need to control the water pressure. If your water pressure is in excess of 30 psi, you're going to need to regulate that pressure down to less than 30 psi in order to inject your chemistry. So you may need a pressure reducing valve or regulator connected to your water source that's then connected to your solenoid valve on your flush manifold. Make sure you have the ideal pressure being somewhere around 20 to 25 psi. That'll get you plenty of water pressure to flush and allow your chemicals to be injected efficiently and at maximum speed.